Welcome to Develop Triple Sight to transform your team from intentional growth strategies. If this question has kept you up at night, how do I coach my team members to get the best results? Then chances are you've thought about how to use feedback to get better performance. Maybe you've heard about Feed Forward from Marshall Goldsmith, and this idea has something that you've applied to team coaching. You're asking the wrong question. My name is Shoma Jurgensen, and I'm with Intentional Growth Strategies. And where feedback and feed forward bookend the coaching experience, I want to help you answer this question for your team. Am I successful? There's a debate around whether feedback or feed forward is most appropriate to coach your team to success. But the question that feedback answers is, was I successful? Feed forward, if you've heard of this, it's the idea of setting goals for future behavior. It answers the question, what does success look like? I'm going to propose a third sight, responsive review, and it answers the question, am I successful? When we apply this to teams, then, you ask your team, were you successful? What does success look like for the team? And as the project progresses, is the team successful and how? So here's how it works. If you look at the idea of feedback and feed forward as control systems, and actually the whole idea of feedback and feed forward came first from engineering and then management theory. If you're interested in the background of these terms, you certainly are welcome to visit the blog post, and you can get a link to that in the video description. But in this case, we're talking about controlling success for a team. Feed forward, as I mentioned, is based on setting goals. So this is considered your foresight. Feedback, most familiar to team leaders and team members, is hindsight. It's your debrief. Responsive review is what I consider your now sight. That's the third piece, your triple sight that you're missing as you coach your team to better performance. So let's talk about some assumptions behind some of these terms. First of all, feedback is most often associated with performance reviews. It's typically a one and done type of conversation, and it's more often used to substantiate pay increases than it is to control for and support future behavior that's successful. Now, Marshall Goldsmith suggested feed forward in the coaching realm, and this idea of setting standards for performance. Now, responsive review is different, where feedback and feed forward create the bookends of coaching your team for performance. Responsive review is what happens in between, and this is most often overlooked. So this is the ongoing input and contingency planning and looking at where you are in comparison to your goals that most often teams are missing and is really the heart of team transformation. It fills the gap between foresight and hindsight, and it allows the team to respond immediately to changes in the environment, to changes in performance standards, and even to changes in goals. Let's use a case study to really explain how triple sight works in action. So foresight, or your feed forward, is your planning stage. Responsive review is your response as the project progresses, and your debrief is your feedback. With this in mind, this is how triple sight works when you coach your team. In the planning or feed forward stage, this is where you're setting the team goals. As the team leader, please do not do this on your own. Involve your team in setting the goals so everyone is working toward one objective. And articulate standards for success. Document processes. How often will you meet? How will you meet? What is expected in terms of communication, in terms of conflict resolution, and define what success looks like. A tremendously powerful question for your team is, how will you know when you've succeeded? Now I'm going to jump to the other side of the bookshelf, the other bookend, and look at the debrief, because this is typically how team coaching and leadership is viewed. So in this case, you're looking at the results at the project's end or the year end, some discrete moment in time. And you're comparing the team's accomplishments to the plan that was set at the beginning of the project. And you ask what worked, what didn't work, what were the unforeseen challenges, and were your goals too aggressive or too conservative? If we wait for input until the end of the project, we lose opportunity to take advantage of goals where we may have been too conservative or communicate goals that might have been too aggressive. So here's how responsive review works. First, you decide how often you're going to review how the project is going. If you're in a very highly changing market, if you're on a launch team, for example, this could be daily, it could be weekly or monthly. It depends on how often the conditions in your project change. And at this point, you look at your progress toward your goals. What are the challenges? What were pleasant surprises? And has the environment changed? These questions in responsive review reflect more of the feed-forward type of thinking. But that's not all you ask. You also look at a debrief in the moment. What has helped progress? What's hindered it? What will you do about these conditions? So what is your intention to keep things on track or communicate how things are going? What help do you need? The team leader should be asking that on a regular basis and helping answer with potentially networking the team with other thought leaders within the organization. And then what are next steps to get us, the team, toward the goal before our next responsive review? Once we get to the end of the project, we do complete the debrief, and it doesn't end here. This is one of the biggest challenges. The information from the debrief should be fed into the next goal setting or feed forward session that starts the process again. So now you see how triple sight is the heart of team transformation, because not only does it allow you to take advantage of foresight, information from hindsight, but it also allows you to transform the team's performance on a regular basis. If you're looking for more strategies and tools to lead successful teams, please take a look at my ebook, Leading Teams That Get Results. It's an affordable way to get 30 or more pages of great information, activities, and tools. You can download it for Kindle at this web address. If you liked what you saw here today, that's fantastic. There's more. Please subscribe and share.